Over the last couple of months, I have replayed a tetralogy of video games that were very special to me in my childhood. And these 4 games that I'm talking about are the Arkhamverse: Batman Arkham Asylum, Batman Arkham City, Batman Arkham Origins, and Batman Arkham Knight. And man, growing up as a kid, these games were so special to me because I finally had the ability of playing Batman. I finally had the opportunity of feeling like Batman, and I have replayed all these 4 games so much in my life. And these 4 games, in my honest opinion, I think are the best superhero games in history. But when I was replaying all of these 4 games, I noticed something. I realized that, damn, DC has not made a video game series, a video game franchise that is as peak as the entire Arkhamverse, because Batman Arkham Origins, City, Asylum, and Knight, they were so in depth in terms of how they built their characters, in terms of how their characters interacted with each other, in terms of how the entire world feels. And when I was replaying them, I started to notice a lot of Easter eggs that I did not notice growing up as a kid, and that was the formation of the Justice League, because Rocksteady was actually hinting that the Justice League were already a thing during all of these 4 games, because even in Arkham Asylum, we see some Easter eggs that showed the Justice League's existence. And even in as late as Arkham Knight, we see Simon Stagg. And remember, Simon Stagg, he's very important to a character called Metamorpho. And we all know that Metamorpho is a member of the Justice League and has been a member of the League since his existence, even though he was also a member of the Outsiders as well. But despite all of this, we're seeing all of these hints that Rocksteady has been showing us throughout all 4 of their games, even their other games that weren't really on consoles. But inside this tetralogy, we are actually realizing that the Justice League is real. Even the conversations that the militia thugs and the criminals had in Arkham Knight were always talking about, oh, at least this is better than seeing the Flying Man. At least this is better than seeing what's happening in Metropolis. And in Arkham Knight, we see a LexCorp building. So Rocksteady, they were actually putting a lot of hints of a Justice League game. So when I was realizing this, when I now saw this, I am just wondering to myself, how did this just go wrong? How did Warner Bros. Fumble a potential $1 million bag that is creating a Justice League game that is set in the Arkhamverse? And what we got earlier in 2024, because now we're in 2025, we need to keep this game away from entering 2025. But the monstrosity that we got was Suicide Squad Killed the Justice League. And when this game got announced, I was so bummed out. I was so mad, because at the time already, when this game was announced, I think it was back in 2020 or 2021, I was already tired of the Suicide Squad being implemented in the DC universe, because even though I do like the Suicide Squad as a team, I am just thinking to myself that DC is literally trying to make the Suicide Squad an industry plant in the DC media. Even though their books are so popular, we were seeing an overabundance of Suicide Squad projects, whether it was a comics, whether it was movies, whether it was just any type of piece of media. The only recent Suicide Squad project that I really liked was, of course, James Gunn's The Suicide Squad in 2021, and the spin-off show after that, Peacemaker, that happened in 2022. But other than that, I was so tired of the Suicide Squad trying to be the big league, trying to be the best and the most popular league and team in DC. And it was really pissing me off, because I wanted a Justice League game in the Arkhamverse, because Batman in the entire Arkhamverse was so peak. He is a 10 out of 10 Batman. He's probably one of the best Batmans to ever take up any mantle in the fictional media of DC. And I'm just thinking to myself, they're going to completely fumble this. And of course they did fumble this, because Suicide Squad Killed the Justice League It performed so horribly. It was such a disaster, and it was a complete disrespect to not only the Arkhamverse, not only to Rocksteady, but to DC as a whole, and how they treated their characters, because they killed off the entire league. They killed off Wonder Woman, they killed off Flash, they killed off Green Lantern, John Stewart, they killed off Superman. That shit was stupid as fuck. And they killed off Batman in the most unceremonious way I've ever seen, in such a disgusting and distasteful way that I really wanted to slap whoever thought of that idea. I really wanted the person who thought that idea to just completely retire, quit from that position, and to go into another field like construction or something, because making video games and making stories is not in that writer's league. That writer should have been fired for killing off Kevin Conroy in that manner, because that scene of Kevin Conroy was his last actual project that he did in the video game realm of DC, and that was his last video game that he did. So that was so disrespectful in my honest opinion. And it wasn't just me that was disrespected, it was the entire world that was disrespected because of how the game performed, and it was so poor. They performed horribly that the game had to be shut down not too long after its release. But even though it was shut down, they're still uploading some DLCs, and they're still uploading some content. Like, we see a female Asian Mr. Freeze, or we're gonna call her Mrs. Freeze, and I'm like, that's so stupid, because we already have a Mr. Freeze in the Arkhamverse already. But let me not even talk about that. Let me talk about what they just released right now. And they have released an explanation, and they have released an answer for fans as to what really happened to the Justice League. And it was actually shown that the Justice League were clones. The league that we saw that was killed by the Suicide Squad were clones all along, and the real Justice League, Superman, Batman, Green Lantern, John Stewart, and Flash, were the ones that actually tricked Brainiac, and they now caused Brainiac to die. But I have many problems with what happened, because this is such a stupid cop-out just to please fans, just to make fans not be too mad, and it just still completely ruins the universe that is the Arkhamverse, the prime great universe, because despite the league being clones, Lex Luthor is still dead, Wonder Woman is still dead, Tim Drake still got killed unceremoniously off screen, and Brainiac, a villain that is way more powerful than any Suicide Squad member, a villain that should have, in my honest opinion, obliterated and killed every single member of the Suicide Squad, starting off with Harley Quinn. Brainiac is still killed in this universe because of this game, and that is so stupid in my honest opinion. It completely destroys any new chance of any Justice League game in the future being good, being serviceable, being solid, because they were already fundamentally stripped in this game. And I'm just thinking to myself, Warner Bros should just destroy this game completely. They should just destroy any hard drives that consist of this game. Any hard drive that contain this video game needs to be destroyed, needs to be incinerated, in my honest opinion, because they just disrespected the entire Arkhamverse. And I'm just thinking to myself again, I'm just always pondering as to how stupid Warner Bros, DC, and Rocksteady are for even releasing this game and expecting fans to like it. They really expected fans to take this game as it is, and they really expected fans to love this game. But how can you love a video game? How can you love any type of project that completely destroys and disrespects the foundation, the characters, and the world that this video game is based on, and the world that this video game is living in? Warner Bros, they need to destroy this game. This game should have never been made, and this quote-unquote ending, in my honest opinion, is one of the worst DLCs that has been ever made. And since they released this ending, this cop-out fake ending that is just trying to make fans not be too mad, I'm going to make this bold claim and say that Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League is the worst video game in history. history, not just in DC, not just in Marvel, but in history, because of the potential that was wasted upon release, upon announcement of this game. This game had a lot of potential. They should have just removed the Suicide Squad's involvement and made a video game about the Justice League taking on Brainiac. That would have been more entertaining. We would have seen Batman actually interact with characters that have never been in any Arkhamverse game. And this is just, in my honest opinion, ass, man. Warner Bros. And DC, they need to do better in the video game front, because Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League is actually killing DC's reputation right now in terms of video games. And since James Gunn, he is at the helm of DC, I think that James Gunn, he is going to right these wrongs. He is going to actually create a video game franchise that will please us as fans, and I hope that franchise that will please us will start with the Wonder Woman game that was announced about 2 years ago. And we really need a Wonder Woman game, because she hasn't gotten any type of game or any type of love in the last couple of years, man. But that's the end of the video. This game is ass. Thank God nobody bought this game. Thank God this game is on its last legs, on its last shelf. This game needs to be forgotten about. We cannot be still talking about this game in 2025. At the end of the video, I'm out. Peace.